Good Saturday morning. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are starting off with a foggy morning here across the Houston area. It's going to warm up today. We're going to have a fairly summer-like day with high temps in the upper 80s. I think we might even be at or near those record high temperatures, which is 89 at Bush Airport for today as we head into this afternoon. So we are expecting the anticipation of a strong cold front that's going to be arriving on Sunday. And then those cold morning temps are going to be in the picture for Monday morning. So temps are going to take a plunge here in the next 24 to 48 hours. However, if you are heading out across town this morning, we are looking at some pretty dense fog in some locations. More of the heavier or the more dense fog is actually along 288 and even on along 45 around the Hobby Airport. Pearland seeing 0 mile visibility. Even areas out in the rural areas, College Station seeing 0 miles visibility. And so if you are heading off to the east towards Beaumont, they're also looking at a patchy dense fog location that's just to the east of Houston along I-10, but we are expecting that fog to eventually taper off as we warm up through the next maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I think by 9 a.m. is when we're going to see that fog eventually move out of the picture. So today's forecast, we are expecting highs in the upper 80s areas north of town, likely 84 for Navasota, 85 for Katy, Houston 88, 84 for League City, Galveston at 75. So we are expecting cooler conditions along our coastal areas, which is good news for the folks that are heading out to Galveston for the Lone Star Rally. Here's a look at the Galveston area right now. This is a courtesy of Saltwater Recon. We're seeing some pretty calm conditions out there. Waves are a little bit choppy, but we are expecting 69 degrees, calm winds, which the calm wind is actually very good news for us here for today if you are making your way across the coastal area. So for our Lone Star Rally, it's going to be a high of 84 in Galveston, but Sunday is going to be the day that we're going to see that cold front arrive here across the area, and that is going to bring some gusty winds as well as those temps struggling to make it out of the 60s and 70s across the coastal areas for tomorrow. So right now, as we look at the current temps across the nation, we are seeing that surge of cooler air actually making its way into the Dakotas around Green Bay, Buffalo, Fargo. That's that surge of cooler air that's going to be moving southward, and eventually it's going to bring us our fair share of cooler temperatures as we head into tomorrow morning. So as we look at those future track temperatures, we are expecting tomorrow to struggle to make it out of the 70s. Eventually, the coldest of those temperatures are going to be moving through between Sunday night into Monday morning as temps are going to drop into the 40s across southeast Texas. So as we take a closer look, like I said, today is going to be a rather warm day with highs likely to get at 90 degrees in some locations. So that's going to be record-breaking temperatures for some folks across town, but we're going to have a warm and pretty sunny afternoon. It's going to feel a little bit like summer. So our weekend is going to be split in half between a warm Saturday and a pretty questionable Sunday in terms of breezy conditions and cooler temperatures. Overnight lows dropping into the 60s for tonight, but it's going to be Monday morning is when we could see some areas north of Houston actually make it into the 30s. 39 for Brenham, College Station 38, Huntsville 38, 47 at Bush Airport, 48 at Pearland. However, it's also going to be the breezy conditions with this strong cold front that is going to really cause some issues for folks who have those not secured long decorations out across your yard. So we're going to see those winds gusting up to 25 and 30 miles an hour heading into Sunday morning. That is going to be the case. We're not expecting really this wind to pick up at least until starting around 3 in the morning. You see how it's calm right now? It's going to be mostly calm throughout this evening, but once we take our future track wind gusts up to around 1:30, that's when we're going to start seeing those wind speeds start picking up across our northern areas, gusting up to 17 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour in Huntsville. And then by 3 a.m. is when we are expecting the arrival of this frontal passage to make it through the Houston area. And that's when we are expecting those winds to start picking up in the overnight hours. So before you head to sleep tonight is when you really should start securing those long decorations or those loose items around your yard, because we are going to expect to see those winds pick up in the overnight, early morning hours. And eventually winds are just going to get worse as we head into the morning hours, getting up to 27, 30 miles an hour out in Conroe. It seems like our inland areas are going to see more of the higher wind speeds. I don't think that's going to be enough to cause any power issues, but if we do get a gust exceeding 35, close to 40, 45 miles an hour, which I don't think is going to happen, but that could cause some power flickering in some locations as we head into our Sunday morning. So definitely expecting those conditions to remain mostly calm for today, but then Sunday, tomorrow, is where we're going to start seeing the effects of this cold front that will bring some breezy conditions and temperatures struggling to make it out of the 60s. However, if you are heading out to the Texans game tomorrow, make sure to either wear a hat, maybe put some extra hairspray on, because we are expecting windy conditions as the Houston Texans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are expecting temps to be in the 60s, getting up to 70 degrees by 2 p.m., 65 by 4 p.m. So if you're heading out tailgating, and maybe if you have a tent out there or you're going to set up, just make sure to bring some reinforcement to make sure your stuff doesn't fly away, because we are going to have a breezy day heading into our Sunday. In addition to the breezy conditions, we're also going to get a surge of very dry air that's going to be moving into the Houston area. That is going to elevate that fire weather risk for Sunday and into Monday. So keeping that in mind, keep also very cautious burning. When it comes to burning, be very cautious with that, because we are expecting extremely dry conditions. I think dew points are going to be in the 20s and 30s, which is pretty much desert type weather, desert type dryness, which is going to really cause some issues for the vegetation that we really haven't received that much rain for. So fire risk Sunday, you're able to see this product right here is from the Texas A&M Forest Service. We are expecting extreme risk for fire weather hazards heading into Sunday. That does include all areas, most of Montgomery County, even along 45, Conroe, Tomball, Aldine, portions of Houston, even along our coastal areas, expecting to see that extreme fire weather risk for Sunday throughout the entire day, as this surge of dry air is going to be moving in and just bringing that dry vegetation. And so the reason why we're also looking at the fire weather concerns is because of the drought conditions that are currently spreading here across Texas and across the Houston area. We're now looking at extreme drought that's now creeping into our western areas along I-10, but areas along Trinity County, portions of eastern Harris County now seeing severe drought. So last couple of months have been pretty dry here across the Houston area, and that really does create some fire weather concerns when we have these dry cold fronts that sweep through the area. So, and I know I'm saying cold front, and usually we see storms with these cold fronts, but this is going to be a dry cold front. No rain or storms are going to be expected to be with it as we head into the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's a look at the current burn bans across our area. Most of our counties are under that burn ban. That does include the unincorporated areas of Harris County. That does include also Liberty, San Jacinto, Polk, Montgomery, Walker, Grimes County, but we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just a bit active in terms of our situation for the next 24 to 48 hours. So definitely, as we look at the next 10 days, we are also expecting those just a roller coaster ride and temperature swing as we head into Saturday into Sunday. So high of 88, and then by Sunday, Monday is when we're going to start seeing those temps drop into the 60s. We're going to struggle to make it out of the low 60s for Monday, and then eventually warming right back up into the 70s and 80s. So it's going to be a quick turnaround in terms of our temperatures for the next 10 days. This cold front just really not going to last too much long. I think it's going to be Sunday, Mondays when we're going to see the effects of that front, but then as we head into Tuesday, that's when we're going to be back into the 70s. I think Tuesday is going to be the day that we're going to see that those pleasant conditions start returning here across our area, especially for the middle of our week. So if you're just now joining me this morning, thank you for watching KHOU 11 Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your Saturday morning forecast is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at some foggy conditions here across the Houston area. So near record highs expected this afternoon. Our record high for Houston usually around 89, and I think we're going to have a rather warm and calm afternoon. But if you are making your way out across town right now, we have some zero visibility spots, especially out near the Hobby Airport. If you're heading to Hobby to catch a flight, just keep in mind that some dense fog is currently along I-45 just to the south of downtown Houston. 1 mile at Pearland, we are seeing some improvements. It was at zero about a few minutes ago, but as the sun is rising, that is causing the fog to dissipate, and we are expecting some of those rural areas. So if you're leaving town, maybe heading west or east, the rural areas are likely to see more of that patchy dense fog for us as we head into the afternoon hours. So foggy conditions, that's going to clear out. We're going to have a mostly sunny day with those temperatures warming up into the 80s by this afternoon, but we are expecting those conditions to once again have a quick turnaround to breezy, cooler temperatures as this cold front is going to be arriving in the overnight hours. Like I said before, you want to make sure that those lawn decorations are secure before you head to sleep tonight, because we are expecting those conditions to once again become extremely breezy with winds gusting up to 25 and 30 miles an hour. So calm today, but then once that front arrives between all day Sunday, it's just going to be very breezy, 25-30 mile an hour winds, temps struggling to make it out of the 60s. And so we are expecting also that elevated fire weather risk as we head into those afternoon hours as well. So extremely dry conditions once again, because it causes an elevated fire weather concern, but we're also expecting the next 10 days to look extremely clear and sunny, and not really seeing any rain for us as we head into the rest of our work week. We're just looking at those 10-day high temperatures as that cold front arrives, and it's going to bring us some mostly cooler conditions for Sunday and into Monday, and then once again warming right back up into the lower 80s for the end of the week. So that's your weekend forecast. Calm today, a little bit breezy and cooler tomorrow, but we are expecting mostly dry conditions for the next few days and no rain in the forecast, which is not good news because we are looking at some increasing drought conditions. And of course, join myself and Trace and Bragg. We will be on air on the KHOU 11 News at 9 o'clock this morning for the latest news and weather headlines. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your extended forecast, and thank you for watching KHOU 11 Plus.